Hello everybody, welcome back to the Contest Round podcast. We are on episode 51. That's great. We're well over the year point of the podcast. Whoop whoop. Can I get a whoop whoop in the chat if there is anybody there in the chat? There's not, but there may be in a comment section on YouTube. So have at it. Why not? We're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes podcasts. All links are in bios. And as well, make sure to follow on those things if you would like to. I mean, it helps out. And also, I've got to introduce my delightful co-host, Dan of Frontline MCOC, who you can find at www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog. And Eddie, Frontline Home, I can't speak properly, it seems, Dan. Hello.
Hey, Rich, how we doing?
Good. I think it's like, it's been one of those weeks where lots of stuff has been introduced, lots of little things with MCOC.
Oh, yes.
But I don't know. I feel like we're sailing in calmer waters because there hasn't been something so much of a dramatic problem this week.
For sure. Yeah, I could definitely just tell from my website hits being down the last couple weeks that this is a calmer update, just because there aren't so many questions about like things like Jubilee's Arcade and this and that and. It's mostly the when does Love is a Battle Realm Week 3 open up, that kind of stuff. I loved your video the other day where you're like, we've been over this, it's the same pattern, it's once a week.
Oh, honestly, don't. I'm still...
I know you're still salty, but I couldn't help it.
The amount of times I'd say, I've done a video on this. Have you done a video on this, Richard? I have. Oh,
have you looked into it, Rich? Yes, I have.
Yeah. Have you covered it? Have you done this in a video? Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It's pretty simple. It's the same time every week. The normal time that everything goes live.
I'm waiting for people to finish chapter 3 and ask where chapter 4 is, or a new.
There you go.
It could happen, people.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Don't hold your breath.
Exactly.
So it is kind of a calmer update, which is good. I mean, obviously there's always something that they're looking to fix, but there hasn't been sort of the mass confusion that there was like with last month's side quest. Sort of mobilizing everybody, and there's no big new story content. There's a lot of little side quest things that are nice, certainly with the Lunar New Year event and Love is a Battle Realm and the Romance Arena. So there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's not confusing. It's nice. I don't know about you, but I've been grinding through this Romance Arena pretty quickly. I love a nice 4-star basic type arena where you don't really have to worry about death matches. And the milestones are quite easy to achieve.
Yeah.
So I've been liking the Romance Arena. Did you 100% it for week 1?
I did week 1. I'm at 400k for week 2 so far.
Oh, you're almost already done.
I've been having a lot more, and this is going to be one of the things to talk about, and that's the way that Cavalier difficulty works. Now that we've had the changes in, I've been grinding away. I've 100%ed uncollected, and I always have these set targets. By Sunday, I have to, the first Sunday after the update, I have to 100% uncollected. Gather all those units, get a real experience of the champions firsthand, the enemy champions, the villains. And then when I go into Cavalier, I then have to 100% it. My target is to try and do it within the same parameters, like the Sunday after, or at least 2 weeks of it. But I thought to myself, I'll try and get this done in 1 week. The Cavalier objective is the thing that's pissed me off the most. Or kind of
you're talking about the 4-star?
The 4-star one.
Objective, yeah.
Because I've left that easy path as my last coverage of each thing to do.
Yes.
But the biggest issue I'm having with that is just it undermines what Kabam were trying to put in process. Now, the Cavalier the new nodes, I understand the reasons that they wanted to put them in. They wanted to allow people to be quickening up the time. They wanted to allow kind of like a revamp of the process. But at the same time, it goes against what they were trying to put together if they put a 4-star Cavalier objective in. And to kind of put you in perspective, for me, I'm halfway through my 4-star objective grind, but my key issue with this is I'm now ranking up 4 stars to take on the content because I just don't have the 4-star roster there present at 550, and even at 4, at rank 4 as 4 stars, that is making this feel worth my time. I don't know where you are with this.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, my 4-star roster was fairly adequate when they first introduced this challenge. There were a few champions that I did target to move up to 550 for the challenge when it appeared previously. Like Human Torch and Aegon being the 2 big ones.
Yeah.
I think there's a few champions like Void, Archangel, Aegon, Human Torch, Hyperion maybe, that you really want to have at 4-star 550 for this challenge.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
They're going to play well with the nodes, but they're also usually good if you don't... if you're going to play around the node. Like Archangel is basically like, all right, I don't really care what the node is unless it totally shuts him down.
Yeah.
It's like, can I bleed and poison the enemy? Okay, Archangel. And if it's no to that question, then move on to plan B.
Yeah.
I think it was, I posted on Twitter, it was like half strategy, half a joke. It's like my plan for the 4-star objective, 2 for the node, 2 for the boss, and Archangel.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I've been doing, because I find with those long boss fights, you really need 2 options for the boss, because sometimes you just, you have to dodge a special 25 times. What if you miss on the 24th time?
Yeah,
game
over.
That's game over. And Archangel, it's just speed. That's it, right? And honestly, that goes both for 4-star and 5-star Archangel. I have been playing so much Archangel in the event quests when I can, and in Act 7, just because he's the fastest, and speed is at a premium right now. If your parry game's on point, you can just get the fights done in less hits. And I kind of use Void the same way. It's like, all right, let's minimize my chance of screwing this up.
Yeah.
So some of the Cavalier nodes, it's been interesting, right? Because I feel like for the science path, and I've only done the first 2 quests 100%, so I've done the science node and the tech node. I felt like everybody was complaining about diss track until it went away.
Yeah.
And this new science node, I guess it was okay. I mean, I was using Void and Human Torch before, and I'm still using them now, so it doesn't really feel like it changes much for me. Maybe if I had, say, a Spider Ham, or I was really liking the new Yellow Jacket, and I wanted to play around with the power stings naturally more, I would enjoy it. But it was okay. It wasn't a big deal. The tech one, I kind of dig. I thought the old tech node was kind of a nothing node. Like, it didn't really hurt you, but it didn't really help you. This new Cavalier tech node is so much fun with all my robots. And you know how I love my robots, because I've got Darkhawk, Warlock, OG Vision, Sentinel, all at 565. And just the way it's gaining the Furies with the heal block, and giving all the champs this natural regen, which allows you to easily stack up the Fury buffs. Like, even for my 555 Sentinel, 550 Sentinel, when I went for the 4-star challenge, that dude was hitting like a truck. Like, that was pretty good. I like that because normally those robots like Warlock and OG Vision, like, they're not hard hitters. They're all utility, and they don't really have a great way to increase their damage. So suddenly when you give these utility monsters these huge Fury buffs, it's pretty gratifying.
Yeah.
So I did like that, but as I said, I'm only through the first 2 quests.
Yeah, for myself, it was fine. This is the biggest problem with this, is when you put this in as a new thing and make all these kind of alterations and changes, Command fall on their own sword at the beginning, because they then go, right, this is to save time, but you spend more time preparing your new interactions. And I'm just funnily enough, I am producing, which you'll see on YouTube if you're watching the podcast from a visual standpoint. This video I'm hoping to be out on Saturday. It's called Cavalier Class Node Cheat Sheet, which goes over different types of champions which interact with said class-based nodes. So you've got the likes of, and it will be champions that will interact with them, but also champions that are not specifically the type of class, because it doesn't have to be the same class. To give an example, the cosmic one, you are building armor buffs. Now there are so many champions that interact with things like stagger and buff immunity, or punish buffs like Morningstar.
Yep.
So it's a case of going like, it doesn't have to be about these options, but it helps out for a lot of them, because I have seen a lot of negativity towards these changes. For me, my negativity is not about the type of changes that it's that they've put in. It's the time it takes. And what I'm trying to do with stuff like this is save my own time as well, because time is valuable for everybody, not just me, me and myself. But that's the thing, you want to be able to go, right, I'm going to this, these champions are good. The same way that we had the old type, we were like, I've got, as you said, we've got the diss track, we've got our buffed up counters, I'm ready to go, I know what I'm doing this month.
And I think that's part of the problem that some people are having is, especially those that didn't have wide rosters.
Yes.
And we've talked about that before, right? Sort of the building up your toolkit and developing that wide roster. I think for some people, they finally felt like, hey, I feel like I'm in a good place for diss track, or I'm in a good place for buffed up. And it had happened several months in a row. So they felt like they were going to get some use out of those champions. And then they get a new curveball when they just got to the point where they were comfortable with the old EQ meta. Now, for other people who have wider rosters and the more developed throne breakers, they were probably like, well, I've seen these nodes 5 times in a row, or not 5, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Seen them a bunch of months in a row, and it feels a little stale. Give me something new, right? Like, change always hurts. It hurts a strong word, but it's more impactful if you have a smaller roster.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
And this is the thing with like counter development. My favorite thing from the forum like post notes about the different buffs was, we love seeing videos of Angela dealing over 20,000 damage on a medium attack. And Scarlet Witch tearing through obstacles in her path with massive special attack damage. I do that every month, so I don't know if they're referring to me. Probably not. maybe I'm the person that's kind of as a result of Scarlet
maybe
Witch.
you're skewing all the numbers.
Because I use it every month in it, because I'm just like, I like changing up who I use. But that point about Angela is like, hang on a minute, you're just about to put a buff to Angela, but you've removed buffed up as a node to Cavalier difficulty. Which I was just like, oh God, kind of...
Because Angela was having a bit of a resurgence with Cavalier EQ. Like, she's never been a champion that I've played much, simply because I can't seem to pull her. I still don't have her as a 5-star. I don't have her as a 6-star. I pulled her as a 4-star well after I had moved on to 5-star. So never ranked her up. I've probably used her in the bottom 10% of all champions that I've played in this game. I just never got the opportunity to play her. But she has been announced by Kabam McKay as one of the 4 champions that will receive a buff in March for version 30.1. She's going to be a tune-up, which means a numbers improvement, no abilities changes. So this is good, because she does hit hard. I think some people would have liked to see her more as an update, because the knock on her is utility, right? It's all damage, no utility. Although the damage isn't really from the specials, right? So maybe the tune-up is to her specials. Yeah. That could be helpful. But I think there's been some interesting dialogue back and forth about, well, why Angela? And I think the answer to that is the rotation and philosophy, right? Where they're trying to buff the 2 updates and 2 tune-ups in March, and then they're doing the reworks, the 2 reworks in April.
Yeah.
And reworks take a lot more time, right? So if Kabam simply said, let's start with the worst champ that needs the most help and buff them and then go on to the next worst champ, well, that takes the most time, right? The worst champs take the most time to fix. They're trying to help as many champions as they can, as quickly as they can by switching things up and doing these tune-ups and updates and then reworks. But I think for some people, they're like, well, here's 50 champions that are worse than Angela. And Kabam's like, yes, we know, but that's not the point.
Yeah, I guess it's a thing of like, you've got to tackle as much as you can. I mean, they committed to bring a lot up to speed. So it's like going, if they've got and it's like, if you've got champions in your roster that you've taken, and let's just say they've got out there 50,000 rank 3 Angelas and above as 5 stars.
Yeah.
Then they may look at the stats and go, well, a lot more players have ranked up that champion, but it's not hitting at the same numbers as, say, other champions are. That maybe, rank 4, rank 5, and going, right, well, people have these in their roster, not doing anything. Or it's a case that they've been ranked up for the purpose of like taking into be uncollected. Or maybe players have just brought them up for the previous cosmic node, or the which had the aptitude thing. And I just going back to like the Cavalier node, I love the fact that now it's like the cosmic one is cracking the armor, which is like, right, cosmic attackers land an attack. They have a 10% chance for each armor break on a defender to gain an indefinite passive fury, and that's great. It's honestly great for that. That 10% chance to get an armor break, more than likely you try and choose a champion that would have an armor break within its kit, because 10% chance is
I would still be playing Hyperion and Corvus.
Yeah.
And if I get an extra armor break, then that's neat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really, I don't know, I haven't played it yet, but it doesn't on its surface feel like it's adding that much to, say, a middle of the road cosmic like the champion or Angela.
Yeah, I think I like Medusa, Terrax, even like a newly buffed champion, are relatively fine options. But it's just like the interaction. Oh, I feel so sorry for Angela. But I'm glad that she's being looked into and put on the list to be dealt with.
Certainly, yeah. I feel like I think you brought up what is probably the answer, right? Angela's probably more ranked up than, say, a Black Panther or a Miles Morales, who we know are going to get buffs as well, although not next month. So maybe they feel like, hey, like Angela, some people ranked her up, but they're not really using her as much now, probably because they've moved on to different options.
Yeah.
But we can make a bigger impact if we buff someone sooner that more people have at a higher level. That's probably what's going on with her. I think they definitely try to spread it around, right? Like Mole Man and Terrax, those were newer champions. That seemed more like, hey, we released these champions last year. They were undertuned, so let's give them a little bit of help. And then with Yellow Jacket and Kingpin, well, I think we've joked before that literally everyone who's opened a 6-star crystal has a 6-star Kingpin. So I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
And Yellow Jacket's been around forever, and there's so many better Power Sting champions now that it seemed like the original Power Sting guy should get some help.
Yeah. I'm not sure where they're 100% going with a lot of this stuff, but I am optimistic for what is going to be done with champions.
I'm glad they're doing it. Obviously, everyone's always hungry to hear who the updates and the tune-ups are for the coming month. But I think April, where we're getting the 2 reworks, that's where you have that home run potential, right? Like, you don't know. You might get Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, or you might get Magneto. So there's always a lot to be excited about when you get those full reworks, because, man, sometimes they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. There is one thing to talk about. It's kind of gone fresh in the last like day or two, and that's the piggy bank has made a little bit of a return. The thing that crashed us. At the end of last year.
Yes. We love adorable animations. We do not like them breaking our games, though.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was looking at it today for my MCN for Friday, and it stopped working. It did the thing where it was like completed, and I went up to see about purchasing it. Not that I'm interested in purchasing. I'm not interested in purchasing it, but it went. It said like then it went coming soon, and
it immediately reset. Yeah, which it's not supposed to do. I believe it's supposed to be a 2-hour window for you to buy it.
Well, that's
after you complete it.
I did that within like 10 minutes because the raw recording of the video is 40 minutes long. So I did it within 10. It was like I did it and then went to click on it. It's like it literally was less than 10 minutes. It probably was about 3-4 minutes. So there must be an issue with it. I have read a few things saying that they're looking for like full reports on stuff and saying about rebooting the game, and it might work, but yeah, it must be a little something up with that. But it is what it is. Right, 7.2. I've gone in and like done a couple of fights, but I haven't had much of a look round. Have you managed to get into 7.2 or do anything?
No, I tried to get in a couple times earlier in the week, and I wasn't able to get in the beta, so I haven't had a chance to attempt it again. I might try this weekend. Haven't heard much. I have seen a few interesting videos that I shared earlier today. Seems like there's a big Guardian boss that Slayer of Gods was wrecking with his Cosmic Ghost Rider, of course.
Nice.
And then there's a big man thing. So seeing some interesting takes on that with Immortal Abomination, MSD, of course, with She-Hulk. So
nice.
seems like people are positive on it so far, which is good. I haven't seen any freak out posts, so I like that, and hopefully they're sticking with the 7.1 design philosophy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Did you have any fights that jumped out at you?
No. I've not had a chance to do any of the bosses just yet, but it definitely definitely is something that I am considering doing a guide and more preparation for.
Oh, nice.
Or at least something to kind of like I'm ready for the grind, because that's the thing. I want to be able to be prepared for it when I can, because that's the thing with 7.1. I've sort of like made my guides as I've gone along.
Yes.
So I am happy to kind of like do that and be well prepared. So I'm going to definitely do that.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to talk about WandaVision episode 4. Now there's a hell of a lot of things going. This is the self-aware or the most aware episode.
Yes, this was indeed a very special episode. If last week was sort of the rocket ship taking off, this was going to light speed. So much going on in this episode. But let's get right into the elephant in the room, right? So, Evan Peters,
yeah,
Quicksilver. Are we getting trolled, or is this really Pietro, or Peter as he is in the Fox X-Men Universe? Have we really brought someone in from an alternate dimension into the MCU? There's so many theories going on around whether we're just getting trolled and it's just some random dude, that it's really Mephisto, which I might be okay with, or the one, well, Pietro is dead in the MCU and she needed to bring someone in from an alternate reality to fill that role. So, Rich, what do you think's going on here?
Well, at the point of recording this video, I've seen episode 6, but I'm not going to put that into the discussion point.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that really kind of like goes. I can't. And again, not going to go into too much detail, but it doesn't derail to any kind of reveals. And that's the thing. Theories are still on the table as to who or what this is, especially with the fact that the idea of this multiverse being potentially open. Could this be a Quicksilver from an alternate universe? The one that we know from, as you said, the Fox universe side of things? Or is it a case that, and we've seen with the shaping of reality, that faces could be incorrect? And it could be, as you say, Mephisto. It's still like so many things, so many possibilities. Could this be
pretty exciting? Yeah.
Yeah. Could this be Doctor Strange, but he's kind of like been possessed into be something else? You know, I just don't know just yet. But this episode was brilliant for the the argument.
This was 5 stars. Oh, the argument between Vision and Wanda.
That I love.
Oh my! When she rolled the credits on him.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Vision at this point. Vision has figured out that something is horribly wrong. He hasn't figured out the true depths of how wrong it is, because he has no idea that he was actually murdered by Thanos and resurrected. Yeah. But he realizes something is very wrong, and he is agitated. So yeah, that was a powerful scene, and it really looked like they were going to throw down for a second there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was something else, but it was that just it was interesting, especially her lines about what do you think that I'm controlling everything, making sure people get to their dentist appointments. Like, what if she actually is?
Yeah.
What if she is controlling everything? That's in the realm of possibilities.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, he questions, like, where are the children?
Yeah, where are the children? Like, that's dark.
Yeah.
It was cool to see, like, sort of, Billy and Tommy and them growing so quickly, and there's certainly that element of the comedy and the drama playing off each other. And then, of course, they hit me right in the feels. They kill a kid's dog in one episode. I can never deal with it when the dog dies. But I think that and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the dog thing plays into one of the theories I have with Pietro is, and why it could be the real Fox Pietro is, what if she really can't bring people back from the dead? We know from Endgame that when Hulk snaps the gauntlet, he tries to bring back Black Widow, but he can't do it. And he has all 6 Infinity Stones. He can't bring her back. So if he can't do it with the Infinity Gauntlet, there's a reasonable argument to be made that Scarlet Witch can't bring people back from the dead, or animals or anything back from the dead. Now, Vision, of course, complicates that, but he is not biological. So there's possible explanations there where she sort of reconstructed him, and she may be controlling him totally, right? Like reanimating him, especially where we've seen his sort of broken dead face before, right?
Yeah. Like,
she knows he's dead.
Yeah.
So that there's that complication as well. So that would be one theory where she can't bring back her brother from that universe because he's dead. She's not that powerful. That's the limit. So she has to, if she wants a Pietro, she has to steal one from the multiverse. Is that right? Is that wrong? Yeah, a live one from the multiverse. And that's a possibility. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, just a well done episode. And one more thing, just on the TV show, like I love the 80s stuff because I grew up with this. Like, just the Growing Pains nod in the theme song, and the little notes in the lyric about like mentioning vision and phasing. Like, I loved it so much. It was so well done. But even the things like where they were sort of that like helicopter shot where they're like running in a field that is just like the shot from Full House where Elizabeth Olsen's sisters, Mary Kate and Ashley, were on that show. Like there was so many little winks in there that was great. Now, outside of Westview, outside of the Hex, there's a lot going on there too, right? Because Sword is not looking like a totally upstanding organization, are they?
No, there's too much of a need, want, and desire for them to be more aggressive over this.
Yeah, I mean they tried to kill her.
Yeah,
they tried to kill her without reservation. I mean, we don't know if it's just the director Hayward or some deeper thing within Sword, but they try to take out Wanda, and he almost ends up paying for it very dearly when she steps outside the Hex, and that was a crazy good scene. When she controls everyone, that gets the scopes on him. But did you notice how much her costume looked like the Scarlet Witch sigil?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. When I rewatched it, I was like, that really looks like someone I know.
Maybe there's something. Would they? They haven't done anything with the crown. Like we don't see Scarlet Witch with we don't see Wanda with the crown that Scarlet Witch sigil has with the game. Mm-hmm. So you're right. There could be some sort of
that still could be to come though.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Why would Kabam allow that to be leaked early? I know that the WandaVision was originally meant to come out in December 2020, and then they pulled it back by a month. So I don't know. I'm all kind of like confuzzled now. I want to.
So many questions, Rich.
I want to pull that up now. I want to go like versus Sword. So I'm just going to do a quick Google search because I want to see that.
I am wondering if we're going to be headed towards a showdown between director Hayward and Monica about for control of Sword, because clearly you've got Wu and Darcy Lewis and Monica Rambeau who are not on the same page with that guy.
Correct. Yeah.
And what a fun bit of fan service, their take on the Avengers versus Thanos battle. Yeah. and so many questions, right? Like clearly Jimmy Woo is a Wanda fanboy.
Yeah.
Clearly Monica is a Wanda fangirl, and Jimmy Woo is a Captain Marvel fanboy. And that look from Monica, like there's something going on there. We might not find out in WandaVision. It might have to wait till Captain Marvel 2. But it's just a lot of fun to see how like unpowered people are reacting to these earth-shattering events. And we have to remember because we saw Endgame a couple years ago. For them, it happened 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, like, it's still very raw to them.
We're still in like a year forward. This is that reality is 2023. So this is kind of weird. Like we're in 2021.
Yes.
But that whole thing is taking place in 2023. So like, they must have beaten COVID. Vaccines must have rolled out.
Good job, guys. Good job.
We survived Thanos and COVID.
Yeah, wow, that's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
So it's I'm just continuing to enjoy the writing and the pace, and Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, they're doing such a good job, and it's been fun to sort of follow Paul Bettany on Twitter. I don't think anyone's enjoying this more than him. Yeah. Just sort of seeing how people react every week to the episodes and the theories, and it must be so much fun for a guy who got cast as the voice of Tony Stark's computer all those years ago, to be playing Robot Dad in a sitcom.
Yeah, he
never could have seen that coming.
Because he was saying the story of it, like he was struggling to find work, and he gets a call from Jon Favreau about doing the voice, and he was like, "Okay, I'll do that. It's money. I'll definitely do that."
Right.
And then it's like
normal actor take.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I don't think he thought in his wildest dreams it would kind of like domino effect to where it is now.
Well, I mean, this is Iron Man 1, like.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, they paid Robert Downey Jr. $500,000 for Iron Man 1. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
And like, what was he getting at the end? Right? Like, probably
50 mil, I think it was.
50 mil.
Was it
right?
50 mil, something like that?
Yeah. Like, this was not, Iron Man was not Iron Man back then. That was a completely different world. No one knew there was going to be this MCU. Like, it's just crazy. So, it's just great to see these actors who have sort of been relegated through no fault of their own to the B and C stories, because Thor and Cap and Iron Man got so much of the attention, finally getting to stretch their wings, because they are really good actors, and there's so many great stories from the comics to be told for these characters. And the next two that are going to get their chance to shine are Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did you see the Super Bowl trailer?
I did. I mean, I'm more excited for like Baron Zemo returning, Sam Wilson's either reluctance or his motivations, his state around the moniker of adopting the Captain America mantle, which I'm sure that will be kind of addressed. That's what interests. I'm still unsure about how Bucky Barnes will be portrayed, because here's the thing, like the way he comes across is very standoffish, surly, and kind of quiet, and that's definitely how he's been in the last couple of films that he's appeared in. Which
he doesn't talk a lot.
Exactly. That's the issue with the kind of the way that's going to be. Like, I understand, like, Sam Wilson is going to be the talky one, or Bucky Barnes is going to be the serious, methodical assassin. But it's like how that kind of, like, after one episode, because I just feel that this might be playing out, overly stringing out a moment of that kind of like, couldn't you lead with that one? I hate you. Which is a funny moment.
Yes.
But then I don't know how that's going to transfer to what essentially will be mercenaries, buddy comedy, but some other narrative to it.
I mean, you're right. A lot depends on Zemo and how he's portrayed and his motivation, and he has a chance to be a very exciting villain. Like, there's a huge dangling storyline. And it was interesting on Twitter, people were talking about, like, who's the best MCU villain, and people were talking a lot about Zemo, and I'm like, okay, like, he's interesting, but we've only seen him once, and he's kind of an incomplete for me. Like, he could be great, but he needs a moment to shine. But if he really gets a chance to do that with this whole no more superheroes thing in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that could be a very cool angle. But I'm excited. I love the look of Sam's costume.
Yeah. It's good.
So that's good. The psychiatrist thing is interesting. Like, it looks like they're going to couples therapy.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious as to what's going on there. But the excitement continues. So Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's out on March 19th. So there should be an extra week off. I believe WandaVision ends on March 5th, and then no new MCU on the 12th. We have to wait 2 weeks for the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's going to feel like it will take forever.
Yeah.
Because I imagine we're all going to be, like, super hungry for the next story. And then, of course, Loki kicks in May.
Can't
after
wait for that. That's going to be good.
But that I am very excited because Loki could get weird.
Yeah, he seemed to be, like, from a lot of the trailers, involving himself with some really ragtag bunch of misfits. Well, it looks like he's been, like, he's like becoming a candidate for something. He looks like he's been a detective of some sort, working with the What's it called? The TCA?
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen that trailer.
People are talking about some hooded character that could be potentially Doctor Doom. I've seen like so much speculation with that. I think that the thing that's going to be exciting is when that finishes, that moment where he jumps out of the plane, just before he jumps out of the plane, he goes, Heimdall, brother, you better be ready. And then jumps out of the plane, and he's then taken by the Bifrost. Is it Bifrost?
Yep, Bifrost. Yep.
Yeah, and it's like, what does that open up? Because that's the thing. Are we in a reality of something different? Is there something now with Heimdall's alive? Like,
well, remember this is 2014 Loki.
Yes,
who grabbed
true, yeah.
the Tesseract. So basically everything beyond Avengers 1 hasn't happened for this Loki. So no Thor the Dark World, no Thor Ragnarok for this Loki. He didn't live there.
He could change fundamentally what could happen for his timeline or this newer instated Loki timeline.
He's in a new timeline, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what mayhem he causes there, and does he come back to sort of prime MCU?
Yeah,
because right now he's floating around in one of those new arms created in time.
Well, Realm is the well, we're recording this on Friday. There's a lot of stuff that got dropped by Realm from a coverage standpoint. From changes, well, the biggest change that I wanted to see is not there, and that's matchmaking. But that's not the end of the world, because there are a lot of things that are being introduced, like story content, which I think we've now established is like that Red Dawn event. So it's like Stronghold.
Or maybe it's gonna be PvE. So PvE. I was looking through the Reddit. So it's gonna be 3 players versus the computer, basically.
Yeah.
To play through the world quest. And apparently there's going to be different restrictions on which champions can play certain world quests, and you have to overcome adaptoid resistances. Like it says, Iron Legionnaire adaptoid champions are indestructible until all the other adaptoids are defeated. So there's going to be different strategy elements to this. So yeah, there's a lot in release notes. They said it was going to be a big update, and it is.
Yeah, I like the gear shards. It does mean for like gear acquisition is a bit of an issue.
I like that. Yes,
it's like we've got like duplicate shards with MCOC. If you get like a 4-star, but you already have the champion, it's duplicated. You get some. You get 275 5-star shards. So it's kind of about the next progression up to grab something. The same thing happens here, which is really good. It gives you that option to like. Make those gains, and that's the thing. If you're getting loads of basic crystals being opened, if you are getting to a point where you're like hitting up the higher rates of battle rating, then at least you're having acquisition of gear that's more respective of fairness to your progression level. So it's like for me, I get loads of rare ones, and I'm going to start soon scrapping some of my rare gear for some of my champions. So I now have to, like, if I ever get a rare piece, I'm like, oh shit, I can't delete this. I'm gonna have to wait until this new system's put in, which luckily is actually being introduced next week. So that's good.
The update should be out next week. They haven't given us an exact date, but yeah, it's definitely coming next week. It's much needed. We were talking about this last episode. The game needs some hype, needs to pick up some steam. I'm hopeful that these world quests are a step in the right direction. So I'm actually looking at the AMA right now on Reddit. You need to have a 160 battle rating to see world quests, but 350 to play normal and 650 to play heroic. So it does look like they have different difficulty levels. Normal difficulty is aimed at around 500 power, while heroic is aimed at around 1100 power.
Gotcha. Let's just have a look at this. Yeah, because I didn't see that on Reddit. I'm probably not looking in the correct places for it.
Yeah, it's saying world quests are medium length, 7 to 10 minutes. 3 players come in 2 difficulties, normal and heroic. With a task, you are completing missions directly given from the Barons. There are 2 world quests in this update, Grave of the Celestials Parts 1 and 2. Each quest has unique codex pages and pre- and post-fight dialogues with the Barons.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I grabbed the full notes of it. Maybe I didn't see it on the correct thing.
That wasn't... That much detail isn't in the notes. It's more just like the world quests are there. It says that thing about it. I mean, it gives you the name, the Grave of the Celestials.
Yeah.
But this whole like 3 players versus the computer, the time stuff, like that's more in the AMA.
Yeah.
There's a lot more coming. They've got leaderboards, and we've talked about that. Leaderboards should be fun. And the Alliance event. Now this is big because Alliances really haven't meant anything.
Exactly.
So we're not quite sure where this is going, but they are increasing the Alliance cap from 12 to 18.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm scrolling through the AMA right now to see if they've released anything about the alliances, and it doesn't look like they've really answered that yet.
Yeah. Which is good. They're also adding in a few new weapons for different types of champions, which I like.
I think this Storm Zephyr Blade, that's kind of cool because we've got the ice, we've got the lightning, and now we're getting the wind. And it's nice to see the multifaceted nature of Storm, and it's interesting how one of her attacks is going to boost projectile power and weaken enemy projectiles. So it's sort of you're throwing into the wind or you're throwing against the wind, and that's going to affect power rating. So that's an interesting take.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works. They're doing a bunch of the balancing updates that they've already talked about. I think the one thing that is really missing from this, and it's a big update, and I'm being super picky, is I really wish we were getting a new champion. I feel like
Agreed.
It didn't have to be Thor. Thor would have been great, but any of the ones they've teased, Logan, Viv Vision, King Groot, if we were getting a new champion to acquire, that would have been an A release note instead of a B release note. Maybe there's a good reason why, but I felt like we had some momentum that happened when Super Soldier got released that got lost.
Yeah.
In the interim, and I really feel like if you put Thor in the game now, that gives people something to get excited about. Maybe they don't want to do that because they're releasing all these balancing updates and they don't want to throw a new character in the mix, which I totally understand from a developer standpoint. It's just like, I just want that one more thing. And part of it's that we've seen the leaks.
Yeah.
And he looks so cool, and I want to go get this dude. I want to throw hammers at people's faces.
I understand. Okay, yeah.
So any big takeaways for you?
I think it's really with a lot of the balance stuff, because from a competitive standpoint, there's a lot of stuff that just goes by the wayside. The Bodok rushing thing, the narrative about synergies maketh the attacker more than a defender. So there's no way to, like, at the end of the day, you've got 3 Black Panthers coming towards you. I know that there's some people out there that would go, oh, this is how you do it. But it's like, a lot of the times, it's just trying to combat that. It's just, you shouldn't have to worry about that element of it, of going, oh, there's 3 Black Panthers there. Oh, they've just popped their SP1s. Oh, they've just gone through and smacked my Bodok for about 70%. Oh, wait, they're doing the same thing again. That's not battling. That's not hard fought battles. That's not like how any kind of narrative.
Yeah, I mean that's it's not, certainly not cheating, but it's not fun gameplay.
No, it's not.
And it needed to be taken out.
Yeah, and that's what the Bodok rushing thing. I know there's the other than that element of kind of like Bodok hugging, which is an issue, but it's like, well, yeah, it's a hard one on strategy. especially when you've got close quarters combat champions versus range champions, you will feel that Bodok hugging is very annoying to you, but it's then at times it's the nature of like, again, strategy. So it's like it comes with both territories. People who would do the Bodok rushing are annoyed at people that Bodok hug. Bodok huggers are annoyed at people that Bodok rush. So it's like there's never middle ground, but the middle ground is stuff that's been sorted out by these 2.0 balance updates. So next week, and hopefully I'll be back to making videos on Rich's Realm, because I've not been too interested with making content on the game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll have to get a live stream together once the update goes live, so we can test out everything that's new.
Yeah. But apart from that, I've been doing a little bit of grinding here and there. I've been working on my Iron Legionnaire. Hopefully plan to get it up to 1,000 battle rating and then move on to something else. Anything you're working on with your champs?
I have been working on Black Panther this week with the spear. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely enjoying that. So I'm trying to get all of my champions at least to level 20 because I've got all that tier 1 basic in overflow that's going to expire.
Oh yeah.
So I want to use that before it expires.
Yeah, I agree. Right, Dan, what are you up to next week?
Man, there's so much grinding to do in MCOC. Trying to get Love is a Battle Realm done.
Yeah.
Well, my romance synergy champions are actually free. Human Torch is always everywhere in AQ and AW, so I never have him free. I've been using Mojo a lot just because of that self-romance synergy. So Mojo's been helping me out, but I would like to get Human Torch in there too, just because he's so fantastic. So really, that Cavalier difficulty, breaking into 714 from a playthrough perspective, 713 guide. Just continuing to plug along and get all this content done.
Yeah, for me it's next week. Wrap up 7.1, so I think I'll be done with it by the end of next week, and then do the opening the following week after that. Do a lot more arena grinding, and then do another Path of Abyss at the end of the month, and then
into the Abyss.
Yeah, into the Abyss for the third time, and then there's 2 more paths after that, and then that's it. I've had enough of that because it's just get so bored of it. But then it's just a case of like going back to my old guide videos that I've got to do. I've got lots of like top 10s to do. A massive amount. I calculated. I'll put together my videos list, which I've put on my Discord, which are the videos to make. And I think I've calculated I've got like 70 MCOC videos to make. And
just 70.
Yeah, just 70.
Man, that makes you feel like you're behind.
Yeah, I narrowed down. I did have about like a few hundred of like different ideas for videos, but I'm trying to like narrow it down against like a lot of the. I've stripped away a lot of the informational type videos in order to kind of go back to more like the quintessential grind guides, top 10s, best champions to deal with stuff. So I think that I'm going to start testing out some of those and see how people respond, and if they are more interested in that stuff, then we'll take it from there.
There you go, solving the people's problems.
Yes, but I'm all excited for the future, and that has been the podcast. Make sure to follow myself and Dan respective social medias. Links are in the description, and as well to follow Dan at www.frontlinemcc.home.blog, and as well we'll see you next week for episode 52. Thank you and goodbye.